Please subscribe.
In the event that the CRV is excessively little and the Pilot is too huge, Honda's punched your ticket with the 2020 Passport. For 2020, the Honda Passport doesn't stray a long way from the hybrid that was new a year ago. Actually, not much is. It's sort of a topic with the Passport. It's firmly identified with the Pilot, less a back third column and with 6 inches trimmed off the backside. The Passport is kissing cousins with the Odyssey and Ridgeline pickup, as well. None of those are awful things, incidentally. Regardless of whether the Passport feels natural in pretty much every manner, it's as yet a strong 2-push hybrid that is agreeable to drive. We give it a 6.0 generally speaking, floated by magnificent inside space and solace. The base variant hauls the Passport down a bit, however we prescribe the progression up at any rate. Like a year ago, the Passport is offered in Sport, XL, Touring and Elite trim levels. Base hybrids cost $33,085 and top trims entice $45,000. Front-wheel drive is standard on the Passport, and all-wheel drive is a $2,000 extra aside from on the top Elite rendition, which is all-wheel drive as it were. On the off chance that you've seen a Pilot, you've most likely observed a Passport. The 2-push form just loses a little off the tail and includes some harder-looking dark cladding. In the engine, the Passport's equivalent to the Pilot, as well. A 280-drive 3.5-liter V6 transports through a 9-speed programmed in all models. The 9-speeds somewhat befuddled on occasion, yet aren't we as a whole? All 20-inch wheels hold the street well, and when furnished with all-wheel drive the Passport's a satisfactory rough terrain entertainer, despite the fact that it misses the mark regarding in-your-face status without a low-extend gearbox. 5 grown-ups will effectively fit on board the Passport, with a lot of room to breathe in the back seats and around 41 cubic feet of freight space behind the subsequent column. Crash analyzers have beneficial comments about the Passport, which earned a top safety pick by the IIHS. Programmed crisis braking, dynamic path control, and versatile Voyage control are standard on all hybrids. Vulnerable side screens are prepared on XL trims and higher. Base adaptations hold back on a touchscreen for infotainment, and don't offer warmed seats. We'd step up to the Passport XL that incorporates calfskin upholstery, a 8.0-inch touchscreen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto similarity, warmed front seats, a moonroof, vulnerable side screens, rooftop rails and a force liftgate for about $37,500 with front-wheel drive. The 2020 Honda Passport doesn't break any new ground elaborately, and it draws vigorously from the Pilot from which it's based. There are a little bunch of contacts that prevent it from losing focuses, however it doesn't wander into any new region, regardless of its name. It's a 5 for style. The shy of the long? The Passport is a Pilot with around 6 inches cut from its tail. The Passport estimates 190 creeps from heavily congested, which is long for a 2-push hybrid. In contrast to the Pilot, the Passport has an unpainted jawline that looks somewhat harder contrasted with the delicate Pilot, however we don't know it's well incorporated into the general look. The best plot for the Passport is its side, where its roofline and body sides kick toward one another, regardless of the tall glass, and associate at the back with a thick cut that missed the Pilot. The rooftop rack that is standard on XL and higher trims is a decent search for the Passport, hopefully for stout all-landscapes and a rooftop-mounted extra from some adventuring Honda proprietor. The enormous 20-inch wheels that are standard on all Passports round out the wheel wells, however wouldn't be our first pick for rough terrain territory. They're simply asking for enormous scratches. Inside, the Passport doesn't wander a long way from the Pilot. The low dashboard and changes open up the SUV to as a lot of accessible light as it can discover, which is acceptable on the grounds that the vast majority of the inside boards are dark and dim. A 5.0-inch sound showcase is standard on base Sport models, however a 8.0-inch touchscreen is prepared on XL trims and higher, and it's a superior fit for the inside, and the cost. The Passport's powertrain follows its underlying foundations to the Pilot family hybrid, Ridgeline pickup, and Odyssey minivan. What that implies for proprietors is a smooth ride, with an accentuation on a peaceful lodge and convenience for drivers. The Passport's not especially a rough terrain warrior, in spite of its name. Accuse the 20-inch tires with slim sidewalls. Beginning from a normal score, the Passport gets a point included for a formed ride. It's a 6. All Passports start with a 3.5-liter V6 that makes 280 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque that is carried through a 9-speed programmed transmission. That force is directed to the front wheels or every one of the 4 wheels when alternatively prepared for a $2,000 upcharge. All Passports utilize 20-inch wheels that wouldn't be our first decision for going 4x4 romping, however the SUV is entirely able rough terrain. Our underlying drive was in Moab, Utah, where it performed commendably. The tall tires don't jar the SUV even with slim sidewalls, either. Our fusses with the 9-speed start readily available and don't stop there. Honda utilizes a push-button gear selector that is nearer to bop it than the shifters were utilized too. It's a short expectation to absorb information, we concede, however there's no fixing the 9-speed's reluctance headed straight toward locate the correct apparatus. Other Honda vehicles have since dropped the 9-speed, however the Passport suffers, at any rate during the current year. The Passport has snow, sand, mud, and normal settings that controls move conduct, footing control, and throttle for each kind of territory. The Passport doesn't have a low run move case, in-your-face bouldering and hiking isn't in the Passport's wheelhouse. Particularly front-wheel drive models, which have a ground freedom lower by 0.6 inches contrasted with the 8.1-inch ground leeway taking all things together wheel drive Passports. Front-wheel drive Passports can tow as much as 3,500 pounds when appropriately prepared, all-wheel drive renditions knock that rating up to 5,000 feet. The Passport's best when it's not excessively settled, loping from trail to trail on cleared street. It drives well for a tall 4x4 fan and XL and higher trim levels utilize calmer materials to segregate street clamor. Visiting and Elite go further with acoustic front entryways. The 2020 Honda Passport asks drivers to discover companions, at that point discover undertakings. No companions? Take a stab at bowling groups. We hear those are acceptable spots to begin. The Passport depends on the Pilot family hybrid, which is the reason we exhort corralling affection. The Passport is 6 inches shorter than the Pilot, without a third line, however just as agreeable. Beginning from a normal score, the Passport gets focuses better than expected for an open payload region, great space for 5 travelers, and an extensive back seat. It's 8. The front seats on most Passports are power customizable and shot in persuading calfskin. Just the base sport models get material upholstery and physically customizable front seats. Driver and front traveler get great outward vision and a lot of headroom and extra space. Back travelers get the advantage of the Passport's imparted skeleton to the Pilot. The back entry was open wide and oblige about each body type. Back seat riders get 39.6 crawls of extra space that is improved by the upstanding seating position, which implies a lot of space for long legs. Behind the subsequent line, the Passport holds around 41 cubic feet of payload. With the back seats collapsed, that space grows to almost 78 cubic feet. Shrouded stockpiling underneath the floor can hold sloppy things or resources when it's a great opportunity to hit the path, yet we simply wish the holder were simpler to evacuate to clean. Inside the Passport, delicate touch materials are held for front seat travelers just. The subsequent column and behind are loaded up with hard plastics. For the XL trim level that we prescribe, those inside materials don't intrigue contrasted with the Jeep Grand Cherokee or Ford Edge. Government and autonomous analyzers have beneficial comments about the 2020 Passport. It's a top safety pick in each trim, and government analyzers gave it a 5-star in general rating. Programmed crisis braking is standard on all models, and for every one of the 3 the 2020 Passport's a 8 on our well-being scale. The FS evaluated the Passport's programmed crisis stopping mechanism as prevalent and said that it kept away from a forward accident at 12 miles per gallon and decreased the SUV's speed by 12 miles per hour in the 25 mile per hour test. The Passport earned top grade scores on each crash test, with the exception of the traveler side little cover test, where it earned a satisfactory rating. The little cover crash test recreates the Passport hitting an article at 40 miles per hour with 25% of the SUV's front width. Government analyzers gave it a 5-star in general rating, yet just 4 stars for front accident assurance and rollover security. Notwithstanding programmed crisis braking, each Passport is outfitted with dynamic path control and versatile Voyage control. Vulnerable side screens, which are useful in the enormous Passport, are standard on XL trim levels and higher. Base renditions of the 2020 Passport aren't very well prepared, yet it's a short toss to the great stuff. The Passport gets a normal score on our highlights scale for small base forms, that still cost more than $30,000, however our prescribed trim level improves. It's a 5 for highlights. This year, similar to a year ago, the Passport is accessible in Sport, XL, Touring, and Elite trim levels. Base, front drive Passport Sports cost $33,085. including gold, and incorporate 20-inch wheels, material upholstery, keyless start, dynamic security highlights, secured over, 2 USB ports, and a 5.0-inch chauffeur sound with Bluetooth availability yet no cell phone programming. We'd avoid that variant for the Passport XL forms that include a 8.0-inch touchscreen with Apple CarPlay and Android.